Pop on jump, it's the weekend. Dream come true with the freak friends. Hitting on doors, that's a defense. Rolling with all, that's an offense. It me change you, let me preaching. With a bull shaking to my maybe drop bands. So they won't buy, and I say, so they won't buy you to keep playing. Baby, tell me what you want. Julian, I know you need fun. Ever since remember we been knocking at the door. Y'all been moving paper, we be running up the school. Y'all before that pillar, we was sleeping on the floor. West side Africa, you know the shit ain't hard. I don't care what they say. We don't care. Bobby, driving all night long. I don't care what they say. We don't care. Bobby, baby, Bobby, come roll with me. All night long. As times relax, my mind's relaxed. I got now from who got next. Here's my number, just send a text. You got a man and she responds, nah. Okay, showing up. I'ma let you go, don't wanna hold you up. I'ma call your phone when I put it up. Whoever let you go must be dumb as fuck. Wait for. Girl, you so fine, I pay for. Fly you first class to the lake for. Body so blessed, I pray for. Body so blessed, I pray for. Because I don't care what you say. I don't care what they say. We don't care. Bobby, driving all night long. I don't care what they say. We don't care. Bobby, driving all night long. My nigga, I killed it. Night long. This the part where you get your girl, nigga. Make sure she focused, nigga. Make sure you focus, nigga. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, hit it. I don't care what they say. We don't care. Bobby, driving all night long. I don't care what they say. We don't care. Bobby, driving all night long. I don't care what they say. We don't care. Bobby, driving all night long. I don't care what they say. That's a hit for your ass, nigga. Hit for your ass, nigga. Prophet the One. Follow me on all Instagram sites, PROPHETTHEONE. That's Prophet the One in case you couldn't spell. But if you could, you already got it. Like Prophet like God, and then duh like duh, nigga. And then one like nigga, I'm the motherfucking one, nigga. You can't miss it. Follow me now.
Yeah, what the camera was. Let me talk to you. Yo.
Yeah. What's good? YouTube Strazeets. It's your boy Chef Choupino. Chef Choupino of formerly a part of that thing over there, but Chef Choupino of YouTube's Chef Choupino Experience. Chef Choupino of the Choupino Community Garden. And also Chef Choupino of Maison Choupino. High-end Italian handcrafted footwear. Yeah. Long story. But I got some designs on deck and we'll be showing them soon. But aside from that, what's good, YouTube? What's good? Remember, I never left. I never leave. I just hover over the trees, figure out a good landing point, good perspectives. I never came to this piece to be your leader, nor to be your teacher. I came to this piece to be lens crafters. Just hitting you with some, different color lenses. Let you view the story within a few different ways, within a few different ways. So hopefully those ways that you see will potentially make you think differently about the way you originally thought, or make you feel like what you thought was right. That's all though. So I'm gonna spread some love. But before I spread some love, I gotta bring the homie. You know who he is. King of the Black Light Effect. My guy. You cooking on me?
Chip.
Yeah, what it do, big dog?
Mm-hmm. It's another good one. Another good one.
Yeah. Another good one. Talk to me. Talk to me. How you doing, man? What's going on there? They haven't seen you. They haven't seen you live in a few days.
Yeah, chef, I lay low for a little while. Let my blood cool off. But everything's all right. Things are changing and turning just the way they should. As the world turns, brother.
As the world turns. Definitely. You and that, man. I had to have me a little fun myself. I'm not gonna lie. I had to have me a little fun. Why did I have to have me a little fun? Folks are like, come on, man. You ain't had to do that. Uh-oh. Yeah, do not disturb. So yeah. So, there was some questions about a piece of artwork that I created. So I'm going to talk about that piece of artwork I created. All right. Before I do that, I'm going to bring one of our special guests up. You haven't seen her for a minute, but she's also large in these YouTube streets. Normally goes by It's All Hot Air, Hot in Cali, or just Andrea Lynch. What up?
What's going on tonight?
Let me find out somebody cammed up today.
Right, you
Let
see,
me find out she feeling cute. Hey.
Right. If anybody wanted to know who keeps smashing your timelines, that's her. What's going on?
What's going on, brothers? Tonight, I miss us. I'm not feeling Sunday night if I don't see us on us. Okay, what's up, Chef? Where you been? What's going on with you?
I've been here. I've been hovering. I've been, you know what I'm saying, networking. I've been, thinking about new, authentic content that does not broach certain primal topics. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Me and Vic know what we're about. We understand about the perspectives we bring to the table.
Yes.
So we got to be in it in a certain way. Mm-hmm. We have to feel it in a certain way. Mm-hmm. And honestly, it's not just about, put it to you this way. We're on YouTube, and this is no disrespect to the folks that no, you good. So it's no disrespect to the folks, that respect what we do here. But what I'm saying is we're more regular guys that are doing this YouTube thing.
Yes.
There's mistakes that we make in terms of YouTube. There's mistakes in terms of stuff as simple as some of my descriptions and things like that. I recognize that, and I'm learning. I'm still learning, Mm-hmm. But we still regular dudes, and what I think makes us important is the perspectives we bring. So, it got to be real. It can't just be just to get on and just have a stream just because.
Yes.
So that's where my head is at. But hell, we hit. Go ahead.
I understand. I get it. I'm with you. I feel where you're coming from. I'm right there. You got that same energy. I'm right there with you.
All right. So, that's where I am on that. But before we go to the funny, let me make sure I say what's up to the folks that we have in the chat here. Mika Marcel, I see you. What's up? All right, it's all high there. Knowledge and relationship. What's going on, M3? I see you. Peace, Danique. Big Dog, I see you in the spot. Jenny Morena.
Morena.
6913. Ah. Gail at night. I see you. I see you.
Yeah.
Yes. Tanae. Oh, okay. He's showing love. Showing love. Peace, Mika. SO. Peace and prosperity, my guy. Good to see you. Oh, yeah. Blaze Brown with that yummy salad on there. Pause.
I think that's a woman, Chef. I've just figured it out.
Celia, I mean, I assumed Blaze Brown was a woman.
All right.
You know, yeah, I always assumed a woman. You know, but anyway, A1 Day. All right, switching up avatars on her. I see you. What up, Quantum?
Q Love.
Yes. All right. So we're gonna start it off with just a little fun, real quick. Just a little fun. You know, I got a little creative. Someone said, "Oh, what I was doing was passive aggressive," but I said, "Nah, I don't want to." You could call it passive aggressive. I said, "Okay, call it passive aggressive, but it's better than aggressive, you know." So, right. So, hold on. Let's watch a little something a little funny here. Hello, citizens. How's your spirit? My spirit, it's flighty. It's high. What is your theme song today? Well, my theme song is I Am the Walrus. Cuckoo-ca-choo. Citizens, I have a friend for you to meet. Come on, friend. Hey, what's going on, y'all? Hey, I got here. I was trying, I was trying to escape the mothership, Yeah, I was busy teaching them classes, some niggas, but yeah, I heard, I was angry. I heard people saying something about us. I don't know. So hold on. If they say something about me, then they got to be talking about somebody else too instantly. Cause hold on, let me pull them out of my pocket. Hold on. Fuck these niggas. Fuck these bitch-made, bitch-ass motherfuckers. Fuck them niggas. I know who them niggas is. They ain't nothing. They some dirty, down low, scum-sucking, rat soup-eating motherfuckers. Fuck them niggas. You fucking hear me? I know them motherfuckers was talking about me. Oh, well, Rico, come on now. I don't know. I ain't hear that, Rico. Hey, citizens, I know. I think. Oh, I don't know. Hey, I don't know, Rico. I ain't sure. I heard they said something about Sunday. That's right. Them motherfuckers talking about me. They said Sunday. Them motherfuckers know I got a son and I was born on the day. Fuck them motherfuckers. Bitch made, bitch ass, bitch monkey, motherfucking rat soap eating, cock turd swelling, ball sacking, motherfucking tea bag, crack smoking some of my bitches. Oh, damn, Rico. I guess you serious. Goddamn, I'm fucking serious. Hey, bitch, give me another drink, motherfucker.
I think it'd have been disrespectful for me to leave my camera and my sound on.
Yo, I can't lie,
You must
man.
have fun doing it. You must have fun doing it.
Actually, I was in my bag because I was like, yo, I was like, yo, I ain't gonna say nothing. Just high road. All right, pizza friend good, and I'm gonna animate this shit.
Chef, you ain't had no friends, bro. They was in there with all the rest of the action figures. Yeah, I hate you, Bam Bam Bigelow. Come on, big boss man. Hey, wait a minute. You did them voices, boy. You switching in and out, boy.
Hey, yo, son, I didn't edit it. That was one take, yo, and I just ain't stop. I just kept going.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Listen, man. It's always important to be able to laugh about situations. You know, especially when we're gonna be talking about certain situations that have a level of depth to them. You know, y'all saw the thumbnail. It was about situational dynamics, choosing your room. So, Vic, I want you, because you're one of the persons, you were on a show earlier this week where you kind of brought up a situation about choosing your room. You don't have to say who you're talking to, but I kind of want you to give a little bit of clarity in terms of where your piece was in there.
Well, the topic had basically broached the area of how you know how KS was speaking on women not wanting to smile at men. I don't think that's restricted just to women. I think brothers do the same thing to other brothers, and we put on this based on where we at. You know what I mean? Let niggas know I ain't playing. Don't bother me. Don't say nothing to me. I ain't to be fucked with. And we give off that energy, and it wasn't always that. So where did that energy come from? Can we change it? Is it better for you to, what's up, brother? Be the first one to say, yo, what's going on? You good? You know what I'm saying? Or should you not engage? Is that wiser? Have the tables been skewed too far? Is it the area? Is it the people? Is it the crowd? Should you even be there? And that was where the conversation kind of took a turn, where idea was brought into the room that there's certain rooms that once you achieve a certain mind state that you shouldn't even be in, because the opportunity for something to derail you from your course is too great to risk.
So I got a question for you about that. How did you feel about that statement where the person felt that once they reached a certain point, they had no business being in a particular room? Is that what they were saying? Yeah,
I think that's the nut of it, the general sentiment of what they were getting at. And I tend to agree through experience. That was not always my position, but I found myself in so many a times in a position where the option was seemingly taken away from me to be the bigger man, or to passively move through my day without conflict. It was no longer my option because someone else chose to inject themselves into my life with their poison. And then I got to thinking, because I felt my actions were directly justified. But then I talked to someone a little more seasoned than me, who basically posed a scenario where they would be, if you say you had parallel timelines and you can see what happened based on the decision you made ahead of time, but you still choose the same route. And the same way we address opportunity costs with money and time and business, it's the same thing with where you choose to be.
So let me say peace. Peace, TC, HBCU Queen TV. Long name, but I see you rep the HBCUs and you rep the Queens. So what's going on, TC?
Peace.
Welcome. Please
It's
grab
good
your
people. That's good people. Okay, that's my people. Okay.
Okay,
for sure.
What was
She
funny?
plugged in already. I didn't know.
That's what it said. Look, what it was I saw we have another HBCU queen in the house.
Oh,
she doesn't
one of
play
my
about
favorites.
she doesn't play about her
Courtney
HBCU,
Michelle.
and she does a hell of a chef impersonation. Check Uncle Stu's show she was on. But
Listen,
yeah,
Chef, let me get his sister her flowers while
Which
you on the subject. Courtney Michelle. I seen this sister grow. But from the gate, no matter what they say about it, she always held her position, which is she wasn't against, but not only not against, but for black men. And those sisters who stand that strong in that space, that they don't understand. That's what make the brothers want to protect the flowers. That's what you know what I mean? That's why we stand at the edge of the garden like what? Because we feel that energy resonating off our back. And I just want to show a little bit of extra love on this stream just for being a great representation of what the black woman really is. And not all these talking points. Peace to you, sis.
peace. Thanks for popping through, Courtney. I already know you got a spot here. So, in terms of situational awareness, there's certain aspects of the technical term. I'm not going to overteach y'all tonight. I want to make sure that what we discuss is going to be something that's going to make sense, something you're going to feel. All right. Situational awareness, situational dynamics. It's defined as a caveat of social psychology. Basically, we define a situation based on complex interplay of anchors of attitude, self-interest, social inhibition, social interaction, and situational circumstance. So I want to talk about anchors of attitude. Anchors of attitude, those are important things. What anchors of attitude are, those are the things, or some people call them attitude anchors, right? What they do is they keep us balanced. Those are the things where if I know that I'm a person that can tend to black out within certain situations, I recognize that, okay, let me fall back. Let me walk away. Let me leave the room. Because remember, we all have an opportunity to choose our room. So that's going to be a recurring theme in this thing. Anchors of attitude. That's what an anchor of attitude is, or attitude anchor. What they do is they allow you to understand your own personal Achilles heel strengths and weaknesses. So that when you know you're faced with a certain situation where you might spaz or black out, you'll take some deep breaths. You'll fall back. You'll look away and cuss them motherfucker out in your head. Whatever those situational anchors are that keep you balanced, that's what those are. The next one is self-interest. Self-interest is the aspect of self-preservation. Understanding the need to keep yourself alive. It's a survival instinct. understanding that even though you could be in a situation with you and someone else, that's that psychological defense mechanism that's going to make you be like, yeah, they cool, but hell no, I got to get the hell on. Self-interest. There's social inhibition. Social inhibition is the thing that helps you know that you got to shut the fuck up when you're in a certain situation. You can say what you want when you're talking to your kids. Say what you want when you're talking to somebody you may feel, deserves less respect than you. But social inhibition is what creates that dynamic whereby you don't cuss your boss out when you want to. That was the one that made, what's his name? Smokey, say nothing when Debo was there, but talk shit after he leave. Those are social inhibitions. Those are the things that we do to keep ourselves safe. Social interaction. Understanding the dynamic of that place, of that room, which means it puts you in a position where you're going to move a certain way, you're going to interact a certain way. Once you start to study those folks in there, you see certain things, you're going to move a little differently. Perfect example. You've been to dinner with a dude. He doesn't want to have his back to the door. That's an aspect of situational dynamics that are ingrained into many of us men. Not sitting with your back to the door. Not always knowing the entryway, but knowing potential exit. Scanning the room. All of that plays a piece in it. But I think the main piece that we're going to cover within, the quintuplet of situational dynamics is going to be number 5, which is situational circumstance. Situational circumstance. The circumstance of the situation that you're in, and understanding the things, understanding what power we actually have, So I'm going to give you one aspect of situational dynamics, right? So I want you guys to think for a minute. If you're driving, don't close your eyes. Close your eyes for a minute. Now, I put a guy who weighs about 100 pounds soaking wet. And I put him in some pants. And I put $4,000 in his pocket. And that wad is sticking out his pants. And I put him into a room with 12 children. Leave him in there for about 2 hours. What's the probability of him leaving with that money? Now,
How much was it?
$4,000.
No, he might not leave it all of it. He might leave
Right, you live in a room with 15 children, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now, but there's still a level of insurity for some people. So close your eyes. Same dude, same pants, same $4,000. You put him in a room with 15 muscle-bound, starving, hood-ass, jail workout looking 300-pound, 6'6" monsters in that room, and they hungry. Now talk to me about the probability of that man leaving with any or all of his money, with any or some of his money.
He probably ain't leaving with none of his money.
He'd be glad to be leaving.
Thank you.
Okay. Situational dynamics. Does it always involve the people? Or does it actually involve, does it always involve the people, or does it actually involve the situations we put people in the situations that people are born to understand.
I think it involves the situation we put people in. That's just me.
Well, I think there's a certain set of situations you're born in,
Mm-hmm.
and based on how your life goes is how much gas you got in your boat. You're trying to get to a new destination, because by the time you reach what they call adulthood, you know if your situation is helping you or hurting you, you know whether you want to stay or leave, mature or immature.
You're on mute, Chef.
Sorry, I was ready to cook on simmer, right? Slow simmer inside. But look, people normally talk about folks that leave the hood. Oh, they ain't real. They got their money and they left the hood. If they were real, they would have never left the hood. They would have never left the hood.
Oh, I can't stand folks like that.
Folks who say that,
No, yes. I think it's you got a God-given right to leave the damn hood. Now, if because you got money, you can leave it. I want to go to the suburbs, live in a white neighborhood. Sure do. I don't want to be shot, stabbed, or my mama getting hurt. How about that?
how often should you come back?
When I want to. If I ever want to, I just don't come back. That's
So-
my God-given right. What's wrong with y'all people? If I don't want to come back, if I don't want to come back and deal with you, because some of y'all are just too much ratchet in the hood, I have a right. If I become famous and got money and established, I'm moving my damn kids to the hood, to the nice neighborhood, to the suburbs, where we don't have to be feel like we gonna get stabbed, shot, or killed.
So wait, let me push back on that.
Sure, go ahead.
If that's your position, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you got the right to get out of the hood and not look back, then the hood has the right to not recognize you when you come back, right? And treat you
That's
as
just
a
fine too.
foreign.
That's just fine too. Sometimes you gotta leave them where they're at. Okay.
So,
And my daddy taught me that very well.
let me tell you this. Let me say this. So I got to push back on your pushback, Vic. For the people that say that you left the hood, so why should we be respected? Nah. For the people whose respect that I care for, when I left the hood, they helped me get the hell up out of there and told me don't look back. They wanted to make sure that I took my ass up out the hood.
Thank you.
They wanted more for me. It wasn't for me just to entertain them and give them companionship and company.
And what about the hood is killing the people who come back? They're killing the people who get back. They're killing the people who just come back and just want to be around their folks. They're killing them people too. Okay? You know who I'm talking about.
Right. You know,
Check,
yeah.
check. Go ahead. Check this out, right? Scenario. It's you and me. We in the ocean. We done fell off the cruise boat because we celebrating. We drunk as hell. We fell off the side, both of us. So we hold on to each other so we don't get lost in the waves. We found a buoy. We sitting up there. We holding this motherfucker. We say, "Chef." I said, "Chef, we can't stay here, bro. We can't stay here. We gonna die out here. Something gonna eat us." I said, "Goddamn. Tell you what, guy come by with a boat, but it's only room for one. It's him and room for one more. That's it. I tell you to go. Don't look back. Don't look back for me, Chef. I won't be here, man. What are you gonna do?"
I'm going to go and come back. I'll come back to get you.
At least attempt, right?
Yeah, at least attempt. But remember, I got to recognize too, within the situational dynamics, some people are prone to fight, some people are prone to flight. There's certain people that I would trust to do my taxes and will not touch my wallet. But if we're confronted with some sort of violent situation, I would more than likely expect them to run, because their superpower is not with these, it's with the pen, it's with these. You understand? So I recognize within the situational dynamics, even of that, there's situational dynamics within the relationship you're in. You know, some people in the red pill community and all of that, you know, they will say that, you know, or some people within the manosphere will say the situational dynamics of you being this type of man will more than likely precipitate you having this type of woman. It's all situational dynamics. It's just understanding the view of it. But believing that people should receive a level of disrespect for leaving where they came from, their job was not to, we're hunter-gatherers. We're nomadic people. Their job is not to sit there and just continue to fertilize that soil. It's to seek out different lands, different climes, different opportunity, you know? But I'm going to kind of pull this thing back a little bit. Talk about the hood, you know? We're going to talk about, you know, folks that stayed in the hood. Some people talk about Dolph. Some people talk, you know, you talk about Nipsey.
Yes.
There's several other artists that never left the hood. And even athletes. We understand some of the demise that we've seen from them. Is it just me? Anybody?
I
personally say Dolph, Nipsey, whatever. Dolph should have stayed in Atlanta with his wife and children and sent a check, okay? And he sent a check, man. You know, sometimes, and the reason I can say this because I had a father, okay? And my father had land, money, and he lost it to the federal government because my uncle, he moved his family from North Carolina to everywhere in the United States, and we just back in California, but he never looked back. And I understand why, as an adult woman, why he didn't look back, because he was like, I don't want my family hemmed up in that. I want my family to be better. I want my family to prosper. And if you stay with that bullshit, it ain't gonna change. And my family's gonna be hooked up with that. And then I look at that as in my own life. Sometimes you gotta just send a check and hope they do well, and do you. Because to me, if Dolph would have stayed out of Memphis, or we'd get some damn cookies, and he's not even safe, just going back home. And he has a right to be here to raise his children. Too many of us is killed. This is ridiculous. It irritates me. And I'm
wait. So what you saying is, at the bare minimum, once you have a child, it is no longer your choice but your responsibility.
Yes. When you have children, it's your responsibility, and it's your responsibility to do everything in your power to stay on this earth and help them being raised. Because when do you know what it is for a black man to lose his father at a young age? He's gonna have. Hopefully, she's a praying woman. Hopefully, she got her village to help her, and hopefully, it's gonna pay good people to help raise that son, because that son is a part of his daddy. That son is a part of a legacy. That son might have some issues losing his father in a young age, and losing his father in the way that he lost his father. Because I blame them and whoever killed them. It's just wrong. Period.
So
go ahead.
No, because I'm about to bend the corner, so I'm gonna let you have your piece.
So are you saying that the hood is then damned because all of the successful men are generally supported by even more successful women, and that's what creates that family dynamic. Those people generally have offspring, which means you're basically removing all of our successful components. You're saying they have a responsibility to remove themselves from this situation. But how about the people who are left there? Are they damned?
No, I'm not. I say get back to them, help them, whatever. But that don't mean you got to be there. That don't mean you got to. That don't mean you got to. You got to be there. You can. You got some liaison there. You got some homies who still live there. Come on now, we know that. Okay, help them. Help them facilitate. But no, I'm not coming back. It's a target on my head. And at the end of the day, is the last time I checked, Dolph got shot in L.A. too. So it's been a target on him.
So I got to jump in there. I kind of feel this before I bring the next guest up. You know, I have a feeling about this piece right here, and I'm gonna put the link out there too. Is it everybody's responsibility to lift up the hood? Remember, the people that feel that they need to go back and lift something up, they may feel there's something there that is a benefit or something that they love or someone that they love to go lift up. So within the situational dynamics, I believe, of those people who came from a particular hood, if once they had the opportunity to run, that means in their heart, they like, fuck that place. This is a place I need to escape. Okay, if I escape hell, I'm not going to come back and bring them some gasoline. Here you go, hell. No, I'm going to get the fuck on. I'm going to get on. You know, I believe that parents play a part within situational dynamics for the children. Because the children don't have the ability to move themselves around and do certain things, I believe they have ultimate power. All right? What do you think as a foster mom?
I believe that as a parent, I'm gonna keep my kids safe, no matter the cost. I don't care if I got to move to Arizona. Okay, I'm gonna keep mine safe because I have an obligation when I adopted them, to make sure they be raised until they're 18. And that's my obligation to them, to make sure they're successful people. And I don't think it's something about when you have a baby, that's your baby, that's your infant. You supposed to make sure, take care of it, nurture it, water it, give it all you can, and then send them out into the world. And I have an obligation to be here, to be around, and make sure they be raised right and how I want them to be raised. And sometimes I think our people put ourselves in bad situations, and dangerous situations, and knowing it's danger.
So let's talk about this before I bring this next person up. I'm going to announce it. People that constantly, even though their economic situation improves, the ones that still choose to stay in the hood, and not increase, they'll increase their spending, but will not increase the money for a place to live or a better location. And we have some money in the back. I'm going to bring them up. Peace. Busy. What's going on?
Good night, everyone. How's everybody doing?
We're good. Busy. How are you?
I'm well, thank you for asking.
Hey, so talk to us. You know, we're talking about situational dynamics, you know, and the control we have in terms of choosing our proverbial rooms. You know, so in terms of the conversation that we having, you know, we're to the point where we're talking about us choosing the rooms for our children and choosing the places that we put them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, were you watching so far? Just to make sure.
Yes, I was watching.
Okay, cool. So tell me what you think about that.
This one hits close to home.
Drive it real quick, Vic. Go ahead, Vince.
So not everybody wants to leave the hood, but everybody should, but I'll just say this. I have siblings that have gravitated towards the hood. And before I even became a parent, I was an aunt of nieces and nephews. Okay. And, with my siblings living in the hood, it was a struggle for me to allow them to even be in that environment. As they were younger, my conversations to my siblings was, get up out the hood. Let me help you get up out the hood. Whatever it takes to get you up out the hood now that you have children. Okay. Now, if you want to live there by yourself, all good. But once you start having children, you got to have a different perspective. You got to start thinking a little differently. Right. And so it was everything for me to get my nieces and nephews up out the hood because number one, she has a young boy and 2 young girls. Okay. And at some point, as they become older, they are becoming a product of their environment. And so it was so important, if not for nothing else, for them children, especially the boy, to get about the hood, because they can become a product of their environment. They start to see drugs being exchanged, people carrying guns, people huddled up in, playing dice and whatever the situation may be. That's what they're going to want to do. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
I apologize. I just wanted to ask you a quick question.
Sure.
So are you saying that the circumstances and the environment are having just as great, if not a greater effect than the parenting?
Yes, I would say so. Because here's the thing too. Being a single parent, sometimes the hood raises you because the mother has to work. And so sometimes those children, even though my sister may be there parenting them, but they are also raising themselves in a sense because she is a single parent. Okay. And so, and we see that often a lot of times, especially growing up in the hood, where you see single mothers out there and they're trying to do the best that they can. Okay. And so, yes, they need to, once you have children, you got to get out of the hood because those children are going to become a part of their environment. And I've seen it, not with my sisters and my nieces and nephews. I've seen it across the board with friends and relatives and just a lot of people. And then it gets out of control because my thing to my sister was, once your kids start to become of age and they start recognizing, understanding certain things, it's definitely time to go then. You could get away with it when they're 1 and 2 and 3 years old, but
that's right.
But once they start to become and understand certain things, it is time to go. Because I always tell my sisters, these kids are living, they're actually in prison. Why I say that? In the hood, they can't go out and be kids. They can't go out and they can't go out and be kids and ride their bikes and shoot basketball and on the street. They can't do that out in the hood because they got to be watching their backs already and making sure that ain't nobody coming in shooting.
Thank you.
Okay, or have these, not even being funny, these random ass dogs out here that they want a dog fight with, coming up to attack them. It's just are the bully neighbors. That's what you're gonna get. So it's definitely critical. I can't express it enough. That's why I said this conversation is home when it's about the hood.
I feel you, sister.
Hey, Biz, I've never talked to you. So I just want to ask maybe a question or two. Your sister or your family you're referring to, how long have they stayed in that kind of a climate?
Long enough. for some years. And here's the thing: we didn't grow up in the hood. We didn't grow up in the hood, so I don't know where the mentality or where the reasoning behind as to. I feel that people get. I think that people get comfortable living in certain environments and in certain situations if that's all they know. Because I would say at least 10 years, at least 10 years that they're choosing to stay in that environment. And I'm going to have every day, every chance that I can get, I'm going to encourage them to leave this hood. Give your kids a better life, a better chance at life. You got a young boy that's growing up, and this is what you want them to see. You gotta change mindset.
It's a different mindset. I feel you. When you become a parent, it's a different mindset. It's like I'm not ducking. I'm not laying down because that's a bullet coming in my house. I don't want to do that. No, I want my son to play at the park. I want him to ride his bike.
Yes, ma'am.
I want my son just turned 23 just a couple weeks ago. He ain't got a criminal record or no doggone babies. And he going back to college. Now what? No.
Right.
No.
Yeah, it's important. It's important. I personally believe that no matter what we as parents do, our children are always subject to the environment that we have them in. They are always subject to the environment that we have them in. The controls of parenting, within my eyes, don't just exist within the lessons I teach them and the nurturing I give them. It also falls into the environment I place them in. Because I can give my kid all the best lessons in the world, teach them how to play box concertos at the age of 2, have them doing calculus by the age of 4, writing books by the age of 6.
Good night.
But then by the age of 7, yeah, tell them I said good night too. Yeah, you good. You good. You have those kids doing all of those wonderful things, the best nurturing you can give them. You drop them in shark-infested water at the age of 7. All of that other shit is nothing, because now it's about survival. And the only ones that would have been equipped to be able to handle that are the ones that are sharks themselves. In my humble opinion, right? So why is it that a lot of kids there's kids that came from the suburbs and came from affluent communities or affluent communities that know how to fight? Why is it expected from somebody that comes from not the hood, but the hood, to know how to handle themselves? Because it's already an understanding of that level of danger. And they've become accustomed to that level of danger. And they've become adept at being able to handle themselves within that. Sometimes the people that make it and come back to the hood, if I don't see them making vital strides to improve the hood, that's something different. If I see them coming back to the hood, creating programs, spending their money to build up the community, using their fame and all of this stuff and celebrity to create change within their community, I can understand that. But if they're not, to me, they're just going back to the hood to save some of their money and be around the same shit. How do the people that respect me, how are they going to look at something greater if they see me as someone greater than them that they look up to? I'm supposed to show them the world. I'm supposed to show them something different. I'm supposed to show them something different because I'm the one that has seen the paradise that they don't know. So I have to come back if I feel that I care for them, then I have to come back and try to show them that paradise. You know, I just coming back to the hood to come back to the hood. You know what I mean? And now understanding socioeconomics and this beast that is the urban jungle. Me being somebody with wealth, living amongst people that are this much above the poverty line. It's not a wise thing to do as well. Because remember, situational dynamics. Am I going to put myself in the room with those 15 muscle-bound, hungry dudes? And I got that 4 racks in my pocket. You see what I'm saying? The thing is, we think about that when it comes to us, when it comes to adults. But I really appreciate, what Biz said was the fact that we don't focus on it when it comes to our children. Some people forget that we ride with our kids on our hip. We kangaroo style, marsupials. They sitting right there tucked in with us. So we in danger, they in danger. But at some point we understand they're not going to fit inside our marsupial pouch anymore. They're going to have to be out on their own.
And that's why you should shield them with everything you got from all that danger. I'm sorry. If my baby daddy's a criminal, my kids ain't riding with his ass.
Facts.
Criminal. He's a criminal. So 10 out of 20, if my baby daddy's a criminal, my baby ain't riding with him. Because know why? She might get shot. He might get shot. Hell no.
But because you're a 20-year plus foster mother that takes care of not only your own children, but the children who have no parents, I wouldn't see you getting with a criminal.
I know that, but I'm just saying my sisters. If my sisters, it didn't even matter. When I had a baby, I knew my ex-husband was a good man at the end of the day. But a husband for me, but a good man. It's different. Thing is, if my baby daddy is a criminal, and I'm just saying, because women make mistakes, okay, whatever. But if you know he a criminal, and you know he in traffic, you know he doing something he ought to be doing, ain't no way in hell my baby riding with you. Never. You can't be seen with you. You can't be riding with you. You can't be. It's just dangerous. And too many women, and I'm gonna say this tonight. I don't care if nobody get mad. Too many women put their children in dangerous situations. They pressure.
Wait. You just opened up a can. I don't even think you meant to open it up, but I'm gonna pop the cap anyway.
Come on with it.
So we're talking about rooms, right?
Yes, that's
but rooms is metaphorical. It's where you're placing yourself, positioning yourself.
Yes.
And what you described is a man who's living a life that will very much represent the hood.
Yes.
So if it's our responsibility as parents to remove our children from those situations, and that was your version of doing that, saying you can't ride with your criminal father when I can't tell what he may be into or be caught up in. Would it not be just as important not to choose a man that is a criminal?
I get that, but it happens. This is.
I'm not. It's not an indictment on you, because when you're in the situation, it is what it is.
Yes.
But
at the same time,
I'm saying, because that's kind of what we get into, is that if we're not going back to the hood, then we don't even have to worry about the dynamics of the hood and how to navigate. So if you're choosing your mate based on those same kinds of criteria to protect your children, is that not just as much a responsibility?
Well, who's getting killed most of the time? Okay, let's ask the question. Who's getting killed most of the time? It's the young black children with their fathers. I'm just asking some questions because I see too many stories where young black children are getting killed in drive-bys with their fathers. So the question is, I'm as a mother who got 4 kids, and I love them all. I would lay my life down for them. I ain't put my kids in that kind of situation. I love them too much to say whatever.
So
Okay, and I got you. I got something for you, Chef. Hey, let me get 3 more minutes, Chef.
go ahead.
I got something for you.
I'll
So
take
so so the reason I asked Biz the question I asked her about how long they had been there, and she kind of illuminated that it had been too long, and about people getting comfortable in an element that even they may even recognize that isn't, the most beneficial, but to be comfortable in it. Well, I wonder how the celebrities and the people who make it out, and we say that they come back for this reason or for that reason, to get shit for cheap or whatever the case, but not necessarily to build the community. I think the draw, I want to know, what is the draw to the hood if you did everything in the world to get away from it? If it's not economics, what is the draw to the hood? Why do the people love the hood so much even once you make it out? Is it the action? Is it the electricity that you feel when your life's in danger?
I can give you what my opinion is.
I would like to hear it.
This is just Biz's opinion on it, is that those who grew up in the hood and leave the hood may not have necessarily wanted to leave the hood, but just like my sister, she don't see anything wrong with it. She doesn't feel unsafe. She doesn't seem that it's anything different from where I'm living than where she's living. They may not see that. Okay, so it's different. So I think that those, and again, this is just my opinion. I believe that those people that go back is because they had no fear. They had living in California and Beverly Hills is like living in the hood for them. But they made it out because they had a couple extra dollars to get out of there. Because my sister don't see the danger in the hood that she lives in. She doesn't see it like I see it. When I see it, I don't even want to go through the gate. The gate ain't never opening. I mean, never working anyway. But I don't even want to go there. Okay, I only want to drive by there. But she's comfortable in her environment. That's what she knows. That's my opinion as to why people go back.
It's just they don't even see it the way you see it. They don't see the fear.
Yeah.
But you can see there's danger. You can see it's some certain streets I don't even go down at nighttime. My girlfriend had her daughter going to this daycare, and she said, "Dre, my car broke down." I said, "Girl, I ain't going down there. There's crazy folks down there and shooting." No.
Ain't nobody tell me I can't come outside, Andrea.
We say, no. It's certain place. No, I'm not gonna put myself in danger. It's this danger down there, and I know that. Okay. We ain't going down there at nighttime. No.
So Biz, let me ask you a question. So you were saying about your sister not wanting to leave. You talking about even after, like, did her finance stay the same way? Did she get an increase where she can afford to move somewhere better?
Absolutely, she is able to afford something better. But because she doesn't see that there's anything wrong with the environment in which she lives in, she don't feel like she has to move. She don't like, for what? Living in this particular place is the same living where I'm living today. What makes it different?
Wait a minute. So you saying that she actually has the potential to have the ability to have a better situation, to choose better for the conversation, but she's so comfortable or doesn't even see the danger in the same way that she would rather stay put.
She's had the
for
financial
familiarity
means to leave years ago. She's had the financial means to leave years ago. But again, she does not see where she lives the same as I see it.
She don't feel like it's danger.
So she's and listen, let me just be honest, and it's maybe not every single hood, but the children's behavior is different. The way that they speak is different. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just their whole demeanor is different. And
Mm-hmm.
over the course of the year, like I said, before I even became a parent, my nieces and my nephews were my priority. They were like mines. So I worried about them. I'm having sleepless nights and conversations with my sisters about changing the environment specifically for their children, but for nobody else, for them children. They don't see the difference. So that's why I gave that opinion that I gave, is that some people who live in the hood may not think that is hood. They don't see the danger.
That's
Or maybe they
wild.
do and they don't care. Who knows?
That's wild. Because I look at my, I don't want to say my generation, right? But when I look at certain situations, hold on. I came from the era where people would literally, I'm gonna use, since I'm living in Atlanta now, I'm gonna use Atlanta geographical metaphors. You'll have somebody from the SWATs who lives in the SWATs with their kids, right? Lived in the Bluff with their kids, and they know they can't really afford that much, but they have a sister that lives in Alpharetta. Alpharetta in the Atlanta area is where all the money's at, all the celebrities at spots. That's where the bread is at. They'll go use their sister's address in order to get their kid into a certain school and drive an hour and change just so that the kid could get to school. Seriously.
Mm-hmm.
People do that because that's a sacrifice they make to be able to put their kids in a certain situation. I believe that within the situational dynamics that we control for our children, for our progeny, for our next piece of legacy that's going to move our family name, we have to sacrifice certain things. We have to. One of the things when I talked about in situational dynamics, the second piece that I named was, what was it? It was self-interest. Self-interest plays a part in situational dynamics. You can improve the situation, but you have to want to. And you have to want to more than you don't want to. I don't believe that the children are put forth and watch this, respected in a way. There's parents that have grown up in suburbia and life did not go well for them. And they were forced somehow by virtue of their decision making in life, forced into a situation where they had to live in an area with a lot of people that would be considered below the poverty line. It wasn't a choice. I sincerely believe that the nature of human beings wants them to have something better, something tastier, something sweeter, something warmer. And when it's too hot, something to keep them cool. It's natural, wanting better. I believe that when a parent moves from seeing better and their situation puts them into a place of less, and then they raise children in there, it's their duty to show the children the positive they experienced. If not, that child is going to be subject to worse than them, because at least that parent had 20 something, 30 years in the suburbs. And then when he hit 32 or 33, yo, you got something under your chin, Vic. Brush off the bottom of your chin, yo. Keep fucking, yeah, lint. My bad. So, yeah, you know, it's that parent, they had a certain amount of positive, a certain amount of the other side. And it's their responsibility. If they're living in the hood with their kid, take the kid out of the hood every weekend. Take them to the library or the park in the area that they grew up in. Give them an opportunity to see the things that they may not have the opportunity to see. We control our children's situational dynamics. When we talk about badass kids is not just by virtue of the parent. It's not just what's going on in the house. Some know that just like when you hear about cats that get locked up, if you're a good guy, don't walk in there on some good guy vibe. Walk in there like a lion. Walk in there with them so that they have the understanding you have the ability to tear somebody's head off if it's necessary. Our children, when we send them to underserved schools in underserved communities where there's not community programs, there's not a lot of YMCAs, there's not a lot of, mentoring programs. People are turned away from the church. There's not a lot of men in the church anymore. All of these different things. But little Lamar still got to take his ass to school. A few miles away. He got to pass through this set, pass through that set, pass through the road kids that's just trying to rob kids. The kids that he may not be friends with that want to jump somebody who ain't friends with them. In order for them to successfully navigate that, it's almost as though they have to partially become that. You see, in order for me to not be afraid of the lion, I have to become part lion or understand lion. And that's where I believe that we continue to propagate that sort of behavior, and it creates a group of people. They talk about Pookies and the Ray Rays and all of that. And, look, they came from somewhere. They learned from somewhere.
Yep.
All facts.
Where we talk about that. Everybody talks about this guy. He took his son somewhere where there was hundreds of police officers. And it was not a place where there was a lot of crime. It was not a place where there was supposed to be a lot of pain. It was a place where people would rejoice and enjoy music. But in the end, people cursed him for bringing his child to that place. I'm talking about the Travis Scott concert, where, there was a guy that was there. There was a guy that was there with a 7-year-old son, and he had his son on his shoulders. But then the people pressing him against him, father fell out, and then the kid got trampled. Everybody from the hood to the hills were calling him stupid, from the hills to the hoods, calling him stupid. How can you put your child in that environment? How could you put your child in that environment?
I asked the same question.
Right, but then the question becomes, remember I said from the hills, like Beverly Hills, from the hills to the hood, they were asking the same question. There's people in the hood that don't spend to bring up the hood, and there's people in the hood that got the bread and will just stack their bread and leave the hood. So if nobody, and not even social social programs are making the change or creating that paradigm shift, you only got your kids for however long you're able to procreate. If you got a kid named Johnny, even if you name the next one Johnny, there was only one Johnny Johnny. You feel what I'm saying? So you only got one shot to do this with your kids.
Mm-hmm.
Just one shot. And I believe that we are not in control of our children's situational dynamics.
Mm.
The ideas, the ideals. Okay? Watch this. If I teach my child about Christ, and I teach him about the greatness of Christ, when I send him out, I'm not going to send him to a yeshiva, a Jewish school. I'm not going to send him a school in a mosque. I'm going to send him more or less to a Christian school or a public school.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, if I'm going to send him out to church, I got to work. You go to church. I ain't going to send a Christian kid to any other religion church, because I know that the message of that environment that I'm placing the child in, I know I want to make sure that the message that that environment espouses is similar to mine. So once we keep keeping our kids in situations because we want to save a couple bucks, we're being selfish.
Mm-hmm.
We're being selfish, and we're allowing them to learn within a place that couldn't really teach us.
Mhm.
You know, I went to high school for the first one. You know, my mom and stepdad were married, and you know they separated, so things got a little rough. But I went to a prep school in New York, and school was $12,000 a year. You talking about in the 80s? I rode from, if anybody's from Brooklyn and New York, I rode from Utica Avenue train station, 4 train first stop, to Mashulu Parkway in the Bronx, which is the last stop. My commute was almost 2 hours each way, right? Almost each way. It was almost 2 hours each way. But I did it. It was an expenditure, you know? But I understand. I learned. The education that I received assisted in making me who I am today, even down to the way I communicate. So I can recognize the benefits of the situation my mom put me in. Her and my stepdad separated. You know, he started being funny with the money, you know? So what ended up happening, things got rough. I went to the local school, local high school. Had all my homies in there. It had, you know, a lot of my people from the hood. It also had different groups of people who I can say also did have, let's say, more nefarious impact on me and my growth. I did everything that I can for my kids not to have to deal with some of those things. Seriously, it's important. It's freaking important. I know you've been quiet for a while, Biz. What you think?
No, I mean, you were cooking. So, I mean, I totally agree with you. But, you know, when we were growing up and when I said I'll become a parent, it's like you want your children to have a better life than you. And so, I mean, I mean, you said it, and everything you say, I agree with you 1,000%. And listen, the kids are even treated differently. And I'm just speaking, and I'm going to keep speaking as it relates to my own situation, in the sense of the children are even handled differently, and it's like, how am I going to try to change my sister's lens to see differently and want differently? Because I'm like, man, if you can't do it for your children, then who are you gonna do it for? Who are you gonna do it for? They're the most important things.
And that's the heartache, and that's the heartache and pain.
It's rough, you know. You know,
that's
I can barely sleep at night, and I don't know how she does it. And she goes to sleep in peace. She goes to sleep in peace, and I'm like, yo, you want to sleep like this? And she's like, yeah. Sis, I'm good. It's quiet over here. I can't be myself. Say what? She
Mm.
can't. She doesn't feel like she's out of her element when she's not in the hood.
Okay, okay. How about this?
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm not gonna say where I work, but the construction company that I work for, it was a big outfit, but they was as mom and pop as you can get for the size of the outfit that they were, and they didn't play by a lot of the rules that the large companies play by. So it's very, very dangerous. But in that environment, I could learn things at a faster rate because I wasn't authorized to be on that equipment, but no one cared. So um, I think because there were opportunities that perhaps I could have gone to a structured, more structured environment. But after operating without those kinds of rules over top of me and that structure over top of me, I didn't feel like that I would survive in a structured environment that way because my instincts were trained to go against the grain, to do things that were outside of the rules that I felt comfortable doing, that I felt safe doing. I think that may be a part of that comfortability is that you work at that job too long because you can be 5 minutes late every day and it's not a big deal because you've been working there so long and you've got that much pull. You can sneak a burger out the back every night and no one's going to say anything to you. And if you go to that corporate job, you're going to have to be 5 minutes early. You know what I mean? All of that calling in stuff ain't going to work. They don't want you to bring your kids to work with you. And I think that dynamic of having to tighten your belt and get more serious about life is a deterrent for people to remove themselves from said situation.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree with that. But it took you a course of time in order for you to create the habit that you created. Whether it was you going against the grain or following the rules, right? That was a choice that you choose to make. Get it, right? But with everything comes time. And it's like, was it that you were just complacent and you just didn't want to make that change to do things the way to become better at the way, at your trade at that particular time? Or are you just like, I'm just going to go ahead and just do this part because it's just easiest to do it in the way that I'm just used to. We can break habits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was more fear with a sprinkle of complacency than complacency with a sprinkle of fear. You know what I mean? That maybe you won't be able to make the adjustment necessary to fit into a brand new environment. Go for what you know. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And the reason I say that is because the stories y'all told are very much so personal to me. I'm originally from Carolina, and I moved to Atlanta when I was 7 years old. Everybody say Atlanta because people don't know these individual cities that we all come from because no one except people with big money really live in the city. When the city used to be hood, they pushed all that up out of there. So unless you got a business or you living in high-rise condos, you don't live in the city. So when I moved to Atlanta, we moved to the north side and stayed with my aunt who had married an affluent man. So I was seeing, multi-level houses with basements and like this is like the first time, it opened my eyes like black people live there? This what y'all live here? And at the same time, my cousins was moving to the south side. And you know what I'm saying? Over there, and from hood to hood to hood on Old Natty and Guyby Road and Concord Place Apartments. You know what I'm saying? Those who know. So I watched my little cousins who didn't have the foundation, you know, and the humility and the roots of that structure, that network that we grew up with, that I had in my developing years. And I watched how they developed right beside me, knowing that they're from the same stock. I know what kind of parenting they're getting at home, but that didn't change the fact of the influence that they dealt with at school. You know how many times these North Side cats that they don't acknowledge is really Atlanta? You got the game mixed up, but the whole thing is, you know how many times me and my people done had to make trips to the other side to go see about my same little cousins and all kinds of situations that they done found themselves in, whether they created it or it was created for them. My little cousin, he couldn't have been 9 years old, already suspended. We went to go check on him, you know. Me and my dudes go see the family. And you know, he was out of school, so we was up early in that morning. So it's like, you know, while the parents go talk, yeah, I'm gonna walk him over there to the park. I'm a little older than him. We walk over there to the park, a little basketball, shoot around a little bit. And there was a little boy over there. He couldn't have been no more than 6, 7 years old. And I mean, he was fresh to death. He's like, "What up, y'all?" He got his little book bag on and whatnot. I'm like, "Why you ain't in school?" He's like, "School." I mean, this shit could have been a terrible hood movie. He's like, "Well, I'm out here trying to get it," and I'm like, "How you trying to get it at 6? What? Get what?" I'm thinking he's just a kid talking, mimicking things that he's heard in movies and rap songs. Until he pull out what had to be a Colt 45 revolver, all chrome. I mean, that thing was blinking, but I didn't know whether to be scared or impressed. Like, nah, I'm real about mine, and he put it back. And then I understood the dynamics that my little cousins was growing up in, because my mother shielded us from a lot of that by working 3 jobs, so we could not have to deal with it, by busing us across town, so I didn't have to go to Marietta City schools. I thought I had it, you know, I got jumped, you know what I'm saying? It was gangs in my school. I had to be late to class every day because I can't walk down my hallway. You know what I'm saying? I can't walk down my hallway. I got to wait for them guys to leave. Bloods over here, Crips over here, GDs over here. You got to determine how you go to your class based on where they at. Teachers don't even give you no trouble about being late because they understand. So what I'm saying is that was on the good side of town. So I don't think parents are so far removed from what the school system is now. What the Funk actually made a very good point in one of the first fatherhood sips, and we're talking about school shootings. And he said, what if they had the statistics of how many things started at school and carried out into the streets? Because black kids know, hey, you don't get in trouble at school. Save that shit. Hey, ride my bus, nigga. Ride my bus.
You see at the corner.
Okay. And you know what time it is. so that's how we deal in our community. And I think it's time for an overhaul. And what my question was when I was speaking to Chef about, would you go and come back or not, or would you feel bad? However, what the dynamic was is Harriet Tubman understood that she wasn't going to come and change and stop slavery or Jim Crow, and all these people understood the dynamic, so they came to remove the people from the situation. Should we be, for those who can afford to and would like to help, instead of sending money to these random organizations to feed this one and that one and yada yada, should we be focused on our individual families and extracting them from this situation? Those who are ready and willing to be extracted, and just abandon the whole project.
Good question. We got somebody else. Peace to Gabrielle. I see you, big dog. Peace to Real. I see you in the sky. My guy. So, peace, Mr. Best in the World. I see you.
Bless the world.
What's going on? So, what it do? What it do? So, what do you feel in terms of what we talking about?
Man, Vic, man, why you got me going after Vic, man? God, Lee. Man, how you gonna shoot? How you gonna shoot after Jordan, man? Good Lord. I'll do my best, LeBron. Let me see what I can work with. At the end of the day, oh man, I think that when it comes to connecting just with the youth period, I think, you know what I mean, it man, it takes a lot. Like, you know what I mean, one, I was telling somebody, you know, I was on a panel last night and I was telling them, I was like, the way that people think who are younger is not the same way that we think. You know, even though we still young, like their young is a different young. Their mindset is different. Their clothes is different. Their music is different. Everything is different. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's completely different. So we can't just box them in to what we used to do or how we act, because they're not even on that same time. You know what I'm saying? They're not thinking about things that we was thinking about. We may have had those who were in gang or in gang activity, but we kind of knew, like, you know, well, once I hit this kind of age, then, you know, Mom Dukes ain't playing, so I'm gonna have to may get a job, or I may have to go to Job Corps, or I may have to go to school or whatever. Like, we kind of knew, like, that was what was gonna happen. You know what I mean? Because we knew we knew how the law was getting down, and we kind of knew how things were. But nowadays, they're not thinking about that. They know that tomorrow ain't promised, but they're fine with it, which is crazy.
So,
you know what I mean?
Question for you.
Yeah.
The department we talking about is us as parents having control over our children's environment by virtue of us choosing where we choose to raise them and the environments we choose to place them into. So, for instance, if things went bad for you and then you end up having to live in the hood where your rent was $400 or $500 a month, while you were making $1,200 a month. Now you got the kick-ass promotion. You making $4,000 a month or $3,000 a month. You can move to the spot where it's $1,000 a month. But because you're used to the hood, you understand?
Yeah.
Brownsville, so you understand.
Yes, sir.
You choose to stay. So I spoke to certain aspects of selfishness within that movement, because you used to it, that you will allow your child to come up in that situation.
No, but no parent in their right mind is going to have their child live in that type of circumstance.
Well,
like,
you was watching earlier. It happens.
It happens.
Hood
I know,
parents.
but I know it happens. I know it happens, but it's a mentality and a cycle. Mind.
Okay.
But the reason why I'm saying that is because, right, as a human being, right, if I'm seeing death and destruction around me all the time, right, a part of me, we all want solace. We want peace. Just as people, everybody wants that. Even the most craziest person, you know, at times wants to sit back and just eat a sandwich. You know what I mean? And not really be attached to anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we all want a symbol of peace. So I think, because I've seen that mindset. I've seen that mindset where, like, yo, I'm in the hood all day. I ain't never leaving. And they have maybe 2-3 kids or whatever. And I've seen that. But at the end of the day, you know what I mean?
Do they want peace? They want peace. Their peace, they feel peace in that type of environment.
In that chaos, yeah.
Right. So is that fear, since remember, they're responsible for managing the temperament of the child that they put out into the environment. So that's why I said to you.
But from what I seen, Chef, not to cut you off, from what I seen, right, and I'm talking about this is from like family members who was really deep in it, who've done the time, who's done 20, 30 years, who've done, you know what I mean, hard time and just been in the system. You know what I mean? Who ain't getting off probation until they damn near 50, 60 years old because they done so much dirt. And the thing I see most of them is regret. They regret it. You know what I mean? They wish they can go back and change it. But now all they could do is just make whatever days they have left what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like one of my family members, one of my uncles says, he goes, "Yo, man, I feel like I could have did better. I feel like I could have did more for you, but I was doing my thing out there." You know what I mean? It's that regret. So they will live to regret it. You know what I mean? But in that moment, yeah, they can't see it. In that moment, they live in the life, so they can't see it. But eventually, the outcome, they will live to regret it. So yeah.
But if they're willing to be, I'm just being honest. Some parents are just selfish, and I just don't think someone recognize or don't understand that their environment is dangerous, and they have became immune to it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, Lady Andrea. In the midst of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the midst of it, my uncle couldn't see it, right? Because he was in it, and that's what he loved, right? He loved that more than he loved us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And he realized that. But now he's almost 60 years old. You know what I'm saying? And he came to that realization, but as they in that mix, they can't see it. You know what I mean? Because they love that, and they get that dopamine rush off of the chaos. It's that adrenaline rush. Like, yeah, like this is going down, like I'm in it, I'm here. Like they get that rush from it. Is it bad? Yeah.
But don't they have an obligation? Don't they have an obligation to, when you have children? I'm just me. When you have children, you have to think about, it's not about you no more. It's about the child. So as a parent, and I just had a conversation with my son my son 2 weeks ago about this. Excuse me. When you become a parent, it's like the Bible says, you put away childish things. So childish things is you an adult now, and you have somebody else behind you. You got to take care of that with all costs. That means get a better job. That means put them in a better environment. Put them in a safe environment. Because if I feel like this, if I lived in the hood and I have a son and he see drug dealing, prostitution, he see all of that, then what do you think that he's gonna end up doing when he get older?
Yeah. Or have elements of that, right?
I have elements of that. So the opportunity is, I have a son, and he's my only son. I'll be damned if I'm gonna lose him to the streets or the prison. So I'm gonna give him every opportunity I can. He's gonna be in football. He's gonna be in everything. A child be sitting around and be an idle mind. He's gonna be.
I gotta give you
pushback. I gotta give you pushback.
Go ahead.
This is the other element that I was speaking to earlier. No, this is not a slight. This is just a situation. Are the children more likely to be in a situation such as this when? Okay, I'm gonna make it real. So, my little cousin, right? One of the ones I said, we had to go, see about some things because he's having a hard time on the other side, right? And I just seen him recently after my grandmother. So here's the thing. He's got the tattoos on his face. He got the dreads. You know what I'm saying? Nice build. You know what I'm saying? Always gonna be in something name brand and fashion. But he's the real deal. He's not faking the funk. But he wants more. He's better now. You know what I'm saying? He's always had a good heart. He comes from good people. But if you saw him, you would probably, the average man, be very much so aware of him. But I see the reaction to women around him as well. And it's the opposite of the men. They're very much so turned on by him. They're very much turned on by him. Good girls especially.
Every good girl loves a bad guy.
Yeah.
So
they think of a bad guy.
So what is the likelihood of your child being in an environment like that by choosing that man based on a look?
Well, either you don't have no children by him, or you just Lord God be with you.
So, Vic, let me make sure. So, your nephew that you're speaking about, did he grow up in the hood?
He very much so did.
Okay, and you said he's always had a good heart, so he never really had that hood mentality. If I understood what you were saying.
No, two things can be true.
Okay, so he had the hood mentality. He just wants it differently now.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
So
I just wanted to make sure I had an understanding. Go ahead.
I mean, he had to see the hard way, and when those people that he was riding for couldn't be called on in times of dire distress, and he had to dial them same old numbers, you know what I mean, for the cavalry to actually come, then his dynamic changed, and then it became more of a struggle to extract him out of that. He wanted out then, you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But now he's still in the situation, but now the fight is to get out instead of to stay. But it's still a fight.
And so my next question would be, did his parents have the financial means to change the situation sooner than later?
At the time, they did not.
Okay.
But over time, it's very similar to what you said. It's just comfortability. Like, they still live over there. I know they're doing much better now. You know what I'm saying? I know for a fact. You know what I'm saying? And even though a lot of those places that they used to stay in, the apartments, you know what I mean? Apartments is woo. Hey, listen, if you can get a home, I don't care how bad the area is, you're so much better than living in apartments. That though, I mean, maybe in the affluent area is different, but just if you're gonna live in anywhere close to hood, you know what I mean, the apartments are gonna be most likely where the trouble is gonna come from. And a lot of people, you know, are that's why I say a lot of it is economics. But then Biz, you brought light to it, saying that even after a certain period of time and the economics change, people still choosing to stay. So if it's not truly economics, is it what? That's why I brought him into it, and the good girl choosing. Are we choosing that? Is the hood where the action at? Did they got our best food spot, and they got the most? You know what I'm saying? They got the car shows, and that's where the fuck is going down at, because black people are the salt of the earth. So we got to come back for the salt once you get so far out.
I don't. You know, if I once I'm out, I'm out, and I ain't coming back.
You never go to the. You'll never.
I'm not gonna look. No, I'm not. Me personally, I'm sorry. I'm not going to look back. And the reason why I personally wouldn't look back is, here's the thing. There's a lot of people who want to get out who can't get out, right? Yep. And there's some who wants to be there, right? And I believe that some of these people that want to get out and can't get out, and then they see one person leave and start to do better, it creates a form of jealousy and envy. And that's how people, when you go back to the hood and visit, they want to take what you got, they want to destroy it, and want to tear up what you got. I'm going to use this as an example. My sister, for an example, is like I said, she's doing much better. She can financially come up out the hood. She has a nice vehicle. And guess what? The people in the hood choose to tear it up because they don't have it. Somebody kicked the light out of her brand new car. And you know what she said? I'm just going to go get it fixed. Say, what? You should be upset about that. But she doesn't see it. Some people don't want to see her do well while living anyway. But then now the children, because now that the children are older, they're becoming more used to it. And my nephews particularly don't even want to come and visit anymore. Because it's like, look, it's too quiet in your house. Ain't nothing going on. You can lose.
Addicted to the chaos.
Addicted to the chaos.
Addicted to the chaos.
Addicted to the chaos and the drama all the time.
Do you know how many people, like my family is all over, all different money levels and economic levels, right? So, you know how many times, you come to a nicer area, we'll have a family reunion, something they stay and they be like, it's too quiet here. It's too quiet. Like the quiet bothers. You know what I'm saying? I need some sirens, some something. You know what I mean? You can't even be settled because they're used to coming from the briar patch. You know what I mean? Metaphorically.
I agree. The thing is, at some point, psychologically, mentally, and even audibly, right? We use the term resonate, where something resonates within you. It tunes into you. It's sound-based. We talk about the cadence, people's cadence. We talk about people's rhythm. And at some point, the noise, the white noise, the loud noise, the gunshots, the sirens, the screeching, the screaming, naturally people become addicted to it. And in order to be able to move throughout that type of an environment, you have to find a particular rhythm and understand the cadence. I live on 14th Street. Them dudes in the 20s, they don't rock with me. So now I got to walk 8 blocks down to 2nd Avenue. So then I could move up there. But then now I got to cut the caddy corner and go this way through the alley because now, I ain't gonna name some real gangs. Then the floating 30s, they over there. So now I got to go up the block and then catch me a Uber, quarter mile away just so I don't got to go through this. So pass through this trifecta point or corner point where 3 gang territories meet. It's a cadence that the kids learn. You talked about it, Vic. You talked about it. You talked about understanding in the school that you went with multiple of the different gangs there. You knew that you had to move within a certain way in order to feel safe, in order to feel protected, in order for you to feel like this is the way I have to move. But it became second nature to you. And I believe with making our kids more tactical, where potentially if there's a situation now where if they would just square L7 all day without understanding that, they might have done, in fight or flight, they might have did the flight, and the flight aspect might have been the best thing for them. It's not always about, overcoming obstacles. It's also about avoiding obstacles.
I got a question for Vic. Because Vic had asked a question a little while ago, and I believe it was something about having fundings to clean up the hood. Was that correct?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question.
You had asked a question a little bit ago. Was it, you stated it was about funding to clean up the hood? What was the question that you had asked?
Well, I was asking, should we, instead of trying to fund the hood and try to give money and programs and things of that nature, should we be trying to extract our individual families from the hood and give up on the project as a whole?
I think so. I'll tell you why. So say we have all these projects and fundings, and I've seen projects torn down and rebuilt, right? Or updated. But that didn't change the people that lived in it.
Yes.
So now it just becomes a rebuilt hood that they're going to go and fuck up all over again. So it doesn't change the people that actually lives there. You just spray some perfume over some shit. Still shit.
Yeah. You have to change your mindset. You have to change your mindset.
Every time somebody get killed in one of these apartments where I'm from, They just changed the name. They say under new management, and they put new flowers up, and they put new furniture in the office, and everybody just forget that it ever happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like you know how many people got killed by if the name is still the same. Like, hey, it come back down like, oh man, the name's still the same, man. Must have calmed down enough.
But I think you have to change your. I think you have to change your mindset. It was something that I told my son. I forgot what the quote was, but I was like, you can live in the hood and not be of the hood. Okay,
Shit.
and I told my son that I said because you know he got some friends that are a little rough, and he got some friends that's not. Okay, but that don't mean that you need to be, you know, you need to be out there doing that crazy stuff. But you have to change your mindset, and when you become a parent, it's just something that you're willing to do. The selfishness is you have to be unselfish for the kids.
For everybody who can't afford to leave the hood, keep your kids inside and do not even speak to nobody else girlfriend or
Really,
girl. Don't leave the women out of it. Don't try to pick up no girl in the hood.
really,
Forget about it.
the kids don't stay inside. Really?
Hell yeah.
Oh, okay.
You going on the yard?
But I'm just saying,
That's the yard out there. If they in prison, that's the yard.
Kids don't want to stay inside. They want to go outside.
You need somebody to roll with if you're gonna go out in the yard. Don't nobody want to stay in their cell in prison. They want to go out and get some fresh air, but they understand the dynamics of what's outside.
And that's why when you become a parent, you make sure that you're in the suburbs so they can ride his bike and play football.
I had to get my bike away when I moved to Georgia. First thing I had to do, get my damn bike away. That shit broke my heart. I watched the boy rip my goddamn letters off and shit, ride off of my shit, took all my shit off, break my shit down. Like, damn, man, he ain't even doing it right. He like, yeah, fuck all this fancy shit. Get all this shit off of here. I'm like, damn, my mama giving me my shit. Like, yeah, let somebody else enjoy it. At least because you ain't gonna be able to keep it. Now I'm gaining weight. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm wearing husky jeans and niggas picking at me. Now I gotta fight for real. You know what I'm saying? And it's there's so many nuances to it. How children are affected by it. That like you say, extraction initially is the only thing that I can see, because the culture is us. The hood is us. You understand? And those elements are not, they're in the hood, but that ain't the hood. That's why people love the hood. It's some real individuals. There's some very creative people in there. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Some of the best people are in the hood. But they are comfortable.
Yeah,
or comfortable in being uncomfortable.
Then when it comes to a point that you know your environment is unsafe for your niece and nephew to come by, do you know it's unsafe as an auntie? Okay, I put it this way: as an auntie and who got nieces and nephews. If I lived in the hood and I want my sister to come and visit me with her kids, and one of her kids tragically passed away because of my dumb ass living in the hood, do you know they will affect me for the rest of my life? Do you know how they will play on me?
So can we agree on this? At all costs, children, the hood is not the place to raise children.
Hell no.
Common ground. What do you say, Chef?
I agree. I mean, you know, I made my stand. I didn't even go take anybody down any rabbit holes. You know, that was definitely my stance. You know, a major stance. The past, you know, between this and maybe the last stream, I talked about responsibilities that we have. Responsibilities that we have are extremely important. We make our own choices, but the choices we make for our legacy, our progeny, our children, they have to be more in depth than ours. Our comfort level What we're willing to deal with is if I'm going to deal with this shit or not. And we know I'll get over it. But the stuff that we put within our children's purview to deal with, especially within their formative years, it has more of a long-term impact. And I believe that in terms of parenting, I believe that parenting has become so selfish that parents will remain within a place just because of saving a couple of dollars, as opposed to doing everything that they can to rage to get their kids out of school. I mean, out of that area and into a better school, using their cousin or their rich sister's address elsewhere so that the kid has an opportunity, you know. Look, here, watch this. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That was a mother recognizing the situational dynamics of where she was and the rhythmic cadence that her son had. And she was afraid because she felt as though he was too comfortable within that environment and didn't realize that how great and brilliant he was and good at basketball he was, that he was also prey, right? I don't know if anybody's seen Bel-Air. Me and Vic, we got to do the, the Bel-Air recap, but check out that Bel-Air show. You guys understand where I'm coming from. It's a darker version of, Fresh Prince, but it's real. That's probably one of the most pivotal, that whole dynamic. Going to live with rich Uncle Phil because mama was afraid that the hood was going to devour me. And if you come from the hood and you really know the hood, you should want to rage with every fiber of your being to remove your child from that hood. So let me, we got two people joined since we were still talking. What up, Marcus? What up, Queen? What's going on with y'all?
What's up? How you guys doing?
What do you guys have to weigh in on this piece? Talk to me.
Queen can go first. Ladies first.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Because I do believe that if you can get out, get out. There are so many that can't and that are stuck because of financial limitations. I don't believe in letting the hood die, meaning that not try to build it up, because there are so many kids there that are going to remain there regardless and that aren't trying to be a part of the street element. So what happens to them? So, yeah.
So just to make sure, so what you're saying is that because I make money now, and I even gave a situation where I'm paying $400 a month in the hood, and I'm only making $1,200 a month in salary, and I have children that are going to underperforming schools, and my kids who are good kids, they have to walk through gang members, bunch of people selling dope, bunch of people shooting dice, the rogue kids that's not members of gangs that just out there stealing, robbing, where my kid may end up being tougher and all of that and more viably tactical than somebody that just had to worry about their studies living within the suburb or living within an affluent community. And I said, now that parent all of a sudden gets a promotion and now they're making $4,000 a month. But because they want to still enjoy that cheap ass rent, they're going to stay there. So that's more, nobody's saying don't help the hood. The thing is, I'm not going to feed my kids to the hood either, just to keep the hood going.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely. Definitely not that. But, yeah, I mean, if you can get out, I would say go. But, what happens when you can't go? What do you do?
Oh yeah. This one right here, we're talking specifically about the ones that have
Well,
the parents that
I
have the
don't.
opportunity to take their kids out of there, that environment.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I would say go. I would say, maybe stay there a few months so that you can rack that, get them in that private school and be out. Because sometimes being in the hood is just because you got to take public transportation or you got to go to the school. So sometimes you can get out, you don't have to be a part of that element if you got a car, if you have, means to get out. So I would say if you can get out, get out.
All right. And then do you feel that that place that they escaped, do you feel that they owe anything? Because some people say, yo, you got to give back to your hood, give back to your hood. But if the hood is somewhere that somebody feels has caused them pain, and it's something that they would never want to have their family in,
That's fair.
why would I want to give back to give back to a place I wanted to escape?
Um, when I think of that, I don't just think of the bad parts, I think of the good parts. And you leave and, you don't just leave the hood, you leave people or different things that you've grown accustomed to. I don't think all hood is, robbing, stealing, drugs, there are, I mean, I didn't necessarily grow up in the hood, but there were hood elements around me. Um, so yeah, I do believe that me personally, I do want to give back to my hood, or what was around it because of the line of work I'm in and the ability that I've been blessed to afford certain things, or even as a child have certain things that other people didn't have, because at the end of the day, that child didn't ask to be born there. And that's what I look at. So,
All right.
yeah.
Thank you.
Hmm.
Marcus, talk to us.
Um, I believe people try to do the best they can, to the best of their ability with what they got. People shouldn't expect for the world to give you understanding, because the world can be a cold and cruel place. Um, Parents, when they have children, a lot of people, they don't have this written book or cheat code to become a good parent or a great parent. They just try the best they can. The ones that do care, the ones that are responsible, the ones that try to take the time to understand, and it takes patience. Um, Smart people learn from their own mistakes. Wise people learn from others' mistakes. Um, my father, we grew up in rough areas. Even though he was an illegal immigrant, he started his own business, landscaping construction. Um, and he told me to stay away from certain people. Do bad things. It just ends up being a snowball effect. Whether you're selling, whether you're a gang member, whether you're doing certain things that are a very degenerate product of a society. Um, and it's a formula. It isn't just one side. It's a complete whole. Whether it's the system, it's yourself, your choices, uh, and from there on, you learn from your mistakes and the best you can, and you just keep going. I believe.
What y'all think about that? You're on mute, Andre. You're on mute.
Okay. I do think parents do the best they can, but at the same time I do think sometimes you have to put away things like childish things. I guess I just grew up in an environment that when you have children, they are the priority. And that's the thing I was just telling my best friend, we had a conversation about our adult children. And we said that when we had our kids, we doing life. But when they get grown, we on parole. And my girlfriend was like, I'm on parole. I have freedom now, and when you it's just like when you have kids, you doing life, but when they get 18, you on parole. The grandbaby's gonna come now, and I just still think it comes to an obligation when you decide to have children. They are the priority. They don't, no matter what. And I guess I learned from my dad. We always preached to us from the church, when you come a age, you put away childish things, and childish things are like hanging out in the streets. Childish things are like, don't have your kid watching the environment, drug dealers on the corner. Just that stuff is like you have to shield your kids from. And I remember when I was in high school, we didn't live in a nice neighborhood, but my auntie lived in a nice neighborhood, so we used her address to go to a nice school because my mama said we ain't going to the hood school. She was like, "Oh, my dead body."
Well, I'll say this, right? Let's be real. The hood these days, you're not paying $400 rent. You're paying $1,000 rent. So
Yeah.
that's almost like average rent right now for almost everybody. So my thing is, if you can spend $1,000 to live in the hood, you could come up with an extra couple $100. And I say that because if you could sit down and you could bear children,
yep,
and you don't know how you're gonna make a way before you even start having children, and you start having children, you figure out that way to make a way, whether it's a couple meals a day, food on their plate, clothes on their backs. You can figure out a way to come up with an extra couple $100 to get them a little further away from the hood, right? Because this hood rent is not cheap anymore. It's almost regular rent.
Yep.
Have y'all looked it up? It's crazy.
Well, that's because they're realizing that those neighborhoods are, well, the ones out here, there's one specifically, and it has a beautiful sky, a view, and they're trying to kick everybody out of there, and
they price you out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what they're doing is that when one of those Section 8 buildings go abandoned, they just board it up. They don't even fix it, and they try to relocate. But what they're doing is that a lot of people won't take Section 8. So those moms who have Section 8 got to go even further away into boony areas and don't have cars and don't, so it's not that simple. It really isn't. I deal with these parents, these families, these moms, these single dads, and it's not that, even if they do have a good job or paying a little bit more, if they have to choose, okay, will I take that extra few hours, and I'm trying to look for a place, but nobody won't take my Section 8 voucher. And then if I take those extra hours at work, I make $200 over my spending limit. They're going to cut me off, and now I'm going to lose everything. So it just becomes this, it's unfortunate, because I do think that people should think about things before they decide to reproduce. I do think that, but that's not happening. So that's a whole nother show or shows. But I do think that it's unfortunate, because when you think about how hoods turn like really crazy, like, it's because a lot of things that the kids were able to do, they're not able to do those things anymore. So when you take the resources out the hood, people just become, like the after school programs, the programs in the school, the extracurricular activities, all those things are no longer in the school. So even if your kid could escape certain things, there's nowhere for them to go anymore, because they're taking them out until they bring different people in the hood who don't look like us. That's why, in certain parts of Brooklyn, you see $500,000 condo homes across the street from projects, because they're showing you that we're getting you out of here. And then we're going to make it a better area. Then the grocery stores come. Then the parks are cleaned up. So I think it's a hard thing, because it's I've seen people who successfully get out, and some of my clients, they struggle. They're really trying, and yeah, they may have made bad decisions with one too many kids, or whatever, but that's what they're dealing with now, and they're trying to do the best that they can. But the system is also not set up for them, because Section 8 is not, if you're trying to get out, a lot of times they don't want you in those nicer neighborhoods. They want you to stay in the hood. They're like, no, we're not taking Section 8 no more. We don't
Yeah.
do that. We don't,
Because they and let me just say this. I'm not placing judgment on no one. I know plenty of people that have had Section 8. And I say had, right? My best friend's sister, she preferred to keep having children. And because she knew the more children that she had, the longer that she would be able to stay on welfare, the longer she'll be able to receive those Section 8 vouchers. Okay. When I say had, is because when we looked at what she was actually getting from the vouchers, it's like, you can have much more. She wasn't disabled. There was nothing that was stopping her from being able to work. She just didn't want to. Okay. She just didn't want to work. So as her children got older and they grew up in the hood, and the first day that I actually met the children, true story, they took me to the trash can where there was a body there the day before. And they wanted to show me, because that's where they seen the body. And that was the first time I ever met her children. My best friend, we've been friends for 21 years now at this particular point. And over the course of the time, her sister got off of Section 8. Okay. She got off Section. Did she have to work 3 jobs? Absolutely. But something clicked to her. Something clicked and said, you know what? I can actually make a little bit more money and do a little bit more just by not having a Section 8 voucher. So sometimes, that could be a crutch. I don't know people's situation, right? But I will say this, and maybe because I'm not in that situation, but being a mother, when I look at my kid's face and my kids' wants and needs, there's nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, and I'm not willing to do to make sure that my child
Mike, busy. Nope. Sounds like use them.
So I say one more thing.
Oh, now. Okay. So,
You good?
Okay. So, I was saying is that even aside from Section 8, I believe that there's parents that are still find comfort and peace. And that just is what it is, So my thing is, your children don't have to be there. I'm willing to take them out of that environment if they don't want to be there. But now it's becoming to the point where the children are okay with being there because that's what they know.
So let me ask you one question. If we're saying that we've addressed the people who have the economic ability to remove themselves and choose not to,
what
about the ones that would like to move but can't afford to? Are we talking about an economic prison? Because I mean we're familiar with the concept of a food desert. Is this an economic prison that we're seeing?
Well, that was something along the lines of what I was just talking about, because like I said, I can't speak for everybody, and I'm just a small person, a percentage, right? But for me personally, as long as I have able limbs, I'm making a way.
I can dig it.
I'm making a way.
She's escape, bro. Prison break.
I'm breaking out. I'm not. There's no.
Go
Listen,
Phil.
Cool hand busy.
I'm not gonna let the government dictate where I want to lay my head, or excuse me, where for assistance. And like I said, as long as I have able limbs, if I had to work 6 jobs, that's what I'm going to do.
Yep. Oh, shoot, I feel you.
So does it start with by choosing a good man? Is the quality of the man a direct reflection of where you're living and your economic status?
What?
Oh, you're going way early. You're going way early. You go into the sperm and the egg. We talking about the ones that already got the kids and they there. You feel me? We talking about the ones that already got the kids and they there. I mean, it could have been from any. It could have been somebody who lost their child. It could have been a girl that got pregnant at 16 and she's now the mother of twins or something. And it could be any situation. We're not talking about the decision making pre-child. We talking about the decision making post-child.
But Vic is acting like a quality man is going. I'm gonna have my I'm gonna lower my standards because I don't got a man. Hell no, I'm not. I want more. I don't want to live in the hood. My kids deserve it by their bikes outside, play outside. There ain't gunshots.
So you get Pookie and Ray Ray to give you the first baby, and then now you want goddamn Steve and Johnny to come save you. Would they get middle class paying job?
Matter of fact, I ain't asking Stevie and Johnny to come and save me. I'm gonna save myself.
I heard you talking to Stevie and Johnny. I heard about you.
but listen, Stevie and Johnny is picked from the hood that I'm used to. So I'm gonna go to where I know. So guess what? Unfortunately, I'm gonna procreate with some people that are from the hood because that's all I know is the hood. That's where I've been. That's where I'm gonna go pick from. I'm not gonna go outside and pick from anything different. Because if my mentality is not strong enough to know that I got to get my children out of this hood, then how can I be out here vetting good men? Like, if I had one kid and I'm still in the hood and I didn't change it, then I go and have 2 or 3. Am I really gonna be out here picking like better men? Probably. The likelihood of that is very slim. My opinion.
So likelihood is I ain't picking no man who ain't got nothing in. Shoot.
I agree with you.
Higher standards. So,
I agree.
And matter of fact, even if you get a divorce, you can still. I'm a mother. I have worked a couple jobs. I'm gonna make sure my kids don't live in the hood. It don't matter what. And I don't need no man to make sure I don't live in the hood. I'm just gonna do it.
Take that.
I mean, it could go different. It could go all kinds of different situations. They could have had a decent man and then they left. It could go a whole bunch of different. These conversations can go all kind of different directions. Honestly, when it comes down to the fathers.
So I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. For all the young women that are growing up in these environments, because that system is mostly propagated from people who grew up in the same hood. Then their daughters grow up in that hood. Now their daughters got babies at 16 and 17 with the same little boys that they didn't want them to have babies with in the same neighborhood. Is what I'm getting at. It's a repeating cycle. So what we be telling these young women is the survival of your child depends on the man you choose?
Maybe choose better. Maybe
for the sake of your child as opposed to your
maybe choose better for yourself. Go to school, get an education, and do better for yourself before you bring a child into this world.
That's a fact.
Kevin Samuels said don't do that.
What I understand as a young mom at 22, I was winging it. Okay, but I'm a seasoned mom now. Ain't no winging it no more. Damn it, I know some shit. Okay, I know some shit. I'm a seasonal mom. There's some things I'm not doing. I'm just saying, man, it's protect your children at all costs. So no, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm telling my son, before you have some children, go to school, get an education, because it's hard. I'm raising children, and it don't come with no road book. But damn it, it comes with responsibility and sacrifice.
Woo! I hear you. Best in the world. What you think? Uh-oh. Marcus,
Yes,
talk
sir.
to me.
Yeah, I think we were having a conversation yesterday in a different stream. It also depends on what type of education kids are getting, especially in high school. They don't want to give them the education that's going to give them more higher paying jobs, uh, more jobs focused on engineering, more jobs focused on e-commerce, e-trade. They don't want to focus on giving that information where they want to do stocks and bonds. They give a small little sample of it, but they want to hold back on the ones that can help them achieve way more. Um, and I think that's kind of like the thing that's not conducive. They want to hold back information to help the kids out. You have clubs and sports, but even those are anomalies because not many people go in to become professionals. You know, a lot of kids just have that dream of I want to be an NFL player, I want to be a rapper, I want to be a boxer. You could try your best, but the odds are stacked against you, of course. But education, depending on the field, STEM, real estate, engineering, a lot of these jobs that may not be the most exciting jobs, but they pay what's the food on the table. They get you ready, they get you stable, and it gives you a base. You know, so yeah,
All right.
that's what it is.
Queen, talk to me, Queen. What you think?
What I think about. Sorry, I had to walk away. What do I
The
think about what?
what Andre was talking about in terms of, in terms of our desire to not expose our kids to certain environments and us doing more than, some folks are doing and working harder to make sure we protect our children from certain environments.
Um, I think you got to be taught that too. When you're taught to glamorize, quote unquote, ghetto-ness, that's all you know. So you have to be taught that as well. And it has to be something you see, if all you see is the little girl who gets the most attention and it looks like she got the glow up, that's what you're going to go after.
What you call it, Queen? The glow up?
The glow up.
That's Queen. I see you. Okay, trying to say, yeah. All right.
I mean, everybody, especially now, everybody want to be Insta famous. Everybody want to do something more to get a little more attention and a few more likes, despite what it's doing to them. I do believe that, I do believe that you can utilize, quote unquote, living in the hood for your benefit and for your kids' benefits, and make it work for you. But you have to be very strategic and know what's out there to do that. I have a friend who had 4 kids, 4 daughters. They lived in the hood when they were little. I hated going by her house, but I went, as soon as I got her block, I knew we were good. But getting to a block was a little sketchy. And, she went to school and she's in the medical field and did what she needed to do. And she makes really good money now. And she was able to pass her Section 8 voucher to her daughter. And they don't live in a hood, but they live in a, it's a nice building. And it's a cool neighborhood. It's near the college. And, and she's doing her thing. So I think there's also a way to, utilize it to get yourself ahead. But in that, you also have to be educated and want it too, because this single mom didn't know a lot of resources that were at her fingertips, to help her springboard her medical profession. So, yeah.
Question for you.
What's up?
Question for you, because there was something that you said. She did what she did, and she was able to move forward. You mentioned her passing the Section 8 voucher on
Yeah.
to her daughter, right?
Yeah. Daughter's a young mom.
Okay. That was a piece I didn't catch. The young mom. All right.
Yeah. I mean, she was engaged, she got pregnant, and, it didn't work out. So, I mean, she didn't just get pregnant, she was engaged to her little boyfriend, and then things didn't work out. And so I told her, I said, instead of you working right now, because I know you're trying to save money, but you can't work that much. I said, go to school, figure out what you want to do. Utilize this while you have it, while, your son's young and he can go, they pay for childcare, and your other sister watches him, so she gets paid for that. Go to school, figure out a field, and allow, where you can, instead of getting these little entry level jobs where you can only work a certain amount of hours and you're not really able to save any money, go to school. Because if you go to school, you good, figure out. And she was like, yeah, you're right. And I was like, yeah, come on, you got to utilize the system. So I'll be dumping information on them. Hey, there's this program, there's this program, there's this program. Utilize it while you are able to utilize it, and let it work for you. There's programs where you can get internships at Google and Facebook. You can get a job at what we call the train system, BART, making $35 an hour as a 21-year-old. So there are a lot of programs. You gotta want them. So that's why I do what I do, because I try to inspire these young people. Like, yeah, you want to be on the corner with homie. You saw what happened to the other homie. Like, there's a way you can have that money and have a very, not have that track to where that road's going to lead you to. You don't have to go down that road to make some money, some good money, and work for yourself. You can do this, you can do that. So some of them listen, some of them don't,
Okay.
But you have to teach your kids about short-term goals, long-term goals, and longevity. Because I think some kids, it's like they always want a gratification right now, but it's a marathon. Okay, you ain't gonna get it right now. It's short-term, long-term, and it's a marathon. And some families don't understand that. And my mother and my father was a great teacher of that. It's a marathon.
I agree. Go ahead.
Agree.
I do.
Andrea talking about 10 years. Talking about 10 days, B. 10 days.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. Keep the reference. But so what I'm saying is that my question is this: true or false?
Mm-hmm.
For the whole panel, true or false? Are these government programs, Section 8? I mean, I'm not mad at nobody food stamps, man. I done ate off food stamps too. Shout out, you know what I'm saying, to all the EBT cards in the world and all the gas stations that take it. But what I'm saying is, are these programs actually keeping us in a holding pattern by making us comfortable, us as a people, comfortable in these impoverished conditions, by making it possible to get just enough just to be able to sit in it, to stew in it?
Yes.
True.
I
agree.
I agree. It's only a little. I think they're only a little, and that keeps us not wanting more. And it keeps us not, some people gonna take the opportunity to get more, and then some is like, I'm good with this. No,
Yep.
It's the funny thing is,
But
there's this concept that I have when there's people that work at a particular job and they may be entry level and they just feel comfortable enough just making their check. Man, nah, I ain't trying to go for no promotion, man. Nah, I ain't trying to deal with all of that stuff, man. I'm trying to just do this right here. And the thing is, people have become so complacent with breakfast in the basement that they don't even want to take 2-3 steps to make their way towards brunch in the boardwalk. People mistake complacency for comfort. People mistake complacency for comfort. People believe at some point, based on certain levels on the laziness spectrum, they make themselves believe they're comfortable with something because they don't feel like doing the work to remove themselves. So they become comfortable within specific dynamics, but it's not true comfort. It's complacency. It's Stockholm syndrome. It's being in a situation that deep down your soul recognizes is not positive. But your psychological defense mechanisms force you to make you think you like it. Look up Stockholm syndrome. It's a real mental deficiency. It's something that your brain does to make you at some point tend to love your abuser or a negative situation.
You just blew my fucking mind with that one, bro.
It's a level of stagnation. It is. So you mean to tell me you would prefer a McDouble over, a Wagyu steak, a sirloin?
More about In-N-Out.
Or when you know that you may never get a sirloin and then you say, man, I want all that fancy people, that rich people bullshit. People have a tendency to psychologically and verbally reject things that they really want, but they believe that they do not deserve or are unable to attain. So it's like, I don't want that anyway. Just like when the guy hollering at the girl, hey girl, what up, beautiful, blah, blah, blah. And she don't pay no mind. You ain't shit anyway, you ugly. It's a psychological defense mechanism so you don't feel loss, so you don't feel regret. Loss and regret, sometimes you have to live in that if you are responsible for raising children. You can't not make moves because of loss and regret. You have to still forge forward because you have the psychology, the mentality, the emotion, the forward thinking of a child or children. And the moves you make, the fears you have, the demons that you choose not to fight, the demons you choose not to fight, those are going to be the same demons that your children will choose not to fight. Children recognize your comfort. Lazy parents weaponize their comfort against children. It's the truth. We got to stop being selfish. We have to stop thinking that I don't feel like doing it. You may have to. You may feel like, damn, I don't feel like going to take little Lamar or little Jenny an hour and a half across town to some dancing class or this STEM program or, singing school or acting or whatever the case may be. That's pure laziness. we're always supposed to want more for our children than ourselves. We cannot allow them to see us comfortable in certain situations because they will learn comfort. What you permit is what you promote. I'm saying it again. What you permit is what you promote. What you accept for yourself teaches the kids where to acquiesce in situations, because shit, it was good enough for my mama. It was good enough for my daddy. If we want more for them, it's not just about putting them in places. It's about us putting in that legwork, that sweat equity to be able to get them out of that situation. Real still. So that is my opinion on this thing here.
My boy Chef cooking. Shout out to Mr. Best.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sorry about that, fam. I had a network call.
Hey, look, Chef, you just knocked my whole head off, bro. I'm not even gonna lie, man. There's so many things that you touched in there about the comfortability that we're in that situation, teaching subconsciously, unconsciously, should I say, teaching them that it's okay to live under these conditions. It's okay to accept this level of lifestyle for your children. And like you say, you know what I mean, that bleed over, that I never heard of the concept of Stockholm syndrome used in anything other than slavery.
I heard it with
That
kids.
makes a lot of sense. It's like institutionalized.
Yes, I heard it with they use it a lot with foster care kids. That's why I know about it.
Really?
Yeah.
You got to expound on that one. You got to give us a little more.
Come on, Andrea.
Well, they use it with foster care kids because they sometimes feel like they're unattached, or they get attached to people, and then they act that way. And so that's how I ended up knowing about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So before we wrap this thing, you know, I said my little piece. I said my little piece, you know, but in terms of the whole conversation about, remember, it was about situational dynamics, choosing our room.
Yes.
We didn't vary from the topic. What I did was I just added the parental dynamic once we were into the show, which was this. The room that we choose for ourselves has an even greater impact on our children in the rooms that they choose for themselves going forward. All right. So in terms of that and the impacts on our kids, I want to let Busy, you know, you tell your final thoughts on that particular idea, please. All right, we're gonna move over. Marcus, tell me about your thoughts on that piece.
I think it's well put, well said. Couldn't say better myself. Everyone had great input, opinions, and point of views. Yeah, and it's more of a, hopefully you learn from this, you listen well, and move on, and move vicariously, strategically, and plan for the future. Don't just plan for the now. Because the present, you know, the past is history, the present is past, and the future is now. Yeah, me,
Thank you,
Jeff.
brother. All right. Yeah, that's my affliction. Queen, talk to me.
I was gonna say, you know, Not everybody wants to stay in the hood. Not everybody wants to stay stuck. But not a lot of people believe that they can do any better. So that's why I will always have a heart to give back in some way, shape, or form. I may not be able to change the hood, but I'll be able to impact one person, one family, one child. And that's why I do what I do.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Best, talk to us.
Yes, sir. Man, I just want to say, for the parents out there, who are striving to do better for their kids, man, strive to do better, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is hard in the hood, and I think we all get that. That goes without saying, but if you could do better, you could provide better for them, provide better, man. Because trust me, when you grow up in certain environments, you have better opportunities. It will definitely help your outcome, and it'll make life a lot easier for you down the road. So yeah.
Thank you. Biz Busy. I don't know. I think Biz Busy is having.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. So my final closing is just that for those who can leave or have the desire to leave, do it for your children, and not give them an opportunity, give them a better chance, because at the end of the day, they have no choice. They have no choice because you're guiding them. And so that's all I have to say is just if you're able to do it, then do it, and don't be afraid to step away from help, because as Vic said a little while ago, is that I do believe that the government is making it harder for them to be able to come out and give a better situation, because they're giving them vouchers just enough to make do, and be more than that. If you have the ability to do so, drop the voucher and get it, and be better and do better, like for the sake of your children.
Thank you. Do better. You stole my words. Do better for the sake of your children. That was the key. We have to want more. We have to want better. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of oxygen that gets fed to bullshit. It's either fight or flight. In order for our urban communities, our inner cities, our hoods, our ghettos, whatever you want to call it, people have to truly, I believe, define where they lay or lie within the realm of flight, or the spectrum of flight or fight. The ones that understand the fight, those more than likely, the good ones, are going to be the ones that are there to fight the destruction, the death, the evil, the nefarious things that exist within that environment. The people that are flight, some of the best thing that they can do is take their ass on and fly elsewhere, because they would be the prey or the victim. And it ain't going to be a good thing. Should everybody go back and give back to their hood? I can't say that. That's on them. It depends on their emotional connection to the hood and who they have still there. To push back on what Vic said earlier, just a lot of times the people that are going back to the hood, because that's the only people, all of their people are there within that community. So they almost forced out. We heard about the other ones that got their family up out the hood and then they went broke. Because now they put their hood family in, it's like Beverly Hillbillies. So there's no right or wrong answer, y'all. I spoke about how I feel. And I just hope that the perspectives that you guys received from each of these different boxes on the screen would just give you a different color lens to put in front of yourself to see if how you feel is different, or if it was somehow changed. and you attach that to your paradigm, and that's your own little personal paradigm shift. So for the record, we have the Sunday Fatherhood Sip, which is still a thing. But I just wanted you guys to know this particular conversation, the rabbit hole about it is, this is just one volume, which is choosing the room.
Mm-hmm.
Situational dynamics goes way deep. This one was about choosing the room, right? But we're gonna go a little deeper. I'm gonna let y'all have just a little taste. Oh, hold on. TC, HBCU Queen TV, what's going on, sister?
Good evening, everybody. Good morning in some places. Good evening in others.
Right.
Listen, it's been a wild evening, y'all. I'm in Philly, so Philly. We on it with with my brother and everything. We surround it and all that. We giving them all the support and everything. So,
right.
But this conversation that you all are having is crucial. Thank you to Andrea Lynch. She was the one that shared out your link to me and others. So this conversation is crucial, y'all. Let me say this. I'm from Brooklyn originally.
Me too. Hey.
Okay, so what I'm getting ready to say, you're getting ready to really smile. Okay, we in Brooklyn, y'all, and in New York, Brooklyn, Manhattan, we have these things called brownstones. Okay, so back in the day, my father invested and got some brownstones in Harlem and in Brooklyn.
Same here. That's funny.
Okay. Now, back in the day, brownstones, y'all, they were like $20,000 each. Okay. Families were living in them. Communities came out. I mean, a whole bunch of folks that's in, we came from Brooklyn. Andrea, she's out there in Cali. I don't know where the others are from. And hello to everyone here on the panel and in the chat. But we've seen the people, the stars and all these entertainers and all the superstars and sports figures. Then we grew up with them. You understand what I'm saying? So we were next door to them. They came to our house and ate. It was no big deal. However, they started moving out and different things started happening in our communities. We know the story. We all get it, okay? Some of us started moving out, people moving down south, blase. The migrations are people moving out to Israel, people moving to Africa. It happens, okay? And we're left with these communities. And so what we did was, instead of leaving and selling, we just started renting our properties, okay? Created a business. Saw that the colleges and universities were in the area. College students need a place to stay. People were coming to New York to get educated. So we had and then of course people are getting older. Baby boomers were getting older. The other generations are getting older. The traditional generation was getting older. So what did we do? We started renting out to elders. All right. Now, where we are to 2000, what's his name? Bill Clinton moves into Harlem. Ooh, ah, ooh. The real estate goes up, boom, bang, pop, right? Now everybody's trying to get a brownstone, right? Now a brownstone is $1 million each. Chef, am I or am I not right?
You're actually incorrect. Brownstones, they're actually a few million more, and depending on the neighborhood, some of them are running for 10 mil right now.
Okay.
My family owned a couple of brownstones on Berkeley Place, in Brooklyn. And when I say it is different. It's different.
It's different.
And go ahead. I'm sorry.
So what I want to say is that you see how life happened. It took a turn, and so we don't completely leave the neighborhood. What we do is we leave some of our soldiers standing there. Some of those soldiers that know how to withstand. But we take our young people out and possibly take them to a different situation. where they can live and expand and grow without having to worry about going to school and worry about having to run to school or having to worry about, are they going to get to school because certain things are happening, dynamics in the neighborhood. And now we have a situation where people can come, gentrification is happening. You go back and now a brownstone is about what? Like you said, it's over $1 million. Okay. We never divested. We just diversified our portfolio and we have property. You know what I'm saying? You go to the suburbs, you get properties, and you get suburban and you get rural properties, you get farms. See, we should have always been farms. That's where we come from. We know better than that. And we diversify our portfolio. We don't divest, we diversify. Okay? That's what we got to do. Because we all know, and I'm going to just end with this. We all know that the rules of engagement of life is that everything that goes around what? Comes back around. Okay? Chickens come home to roost. We know that at some point in time, we weren't wearing tight, skinny jeans. Now everybody wearing tight, skinny jeans. In the 60s, they were wearing tight, skinny jeans. Then you had bell bottoms. Then you had whatever. Now we got tight, skinny jeans. Don't throw it out. Diversify. That's all. And that's what I wanted to say.
All right. That was perfect. That was perfect. And I think you elucidated the point perfectly. Remember, we talked about fight or flight. What you mentioned literally was the benefit of fight, which is not to divest, but to diversify. So remember, we caught an additional lens at the end of this thing here. But what HBCU Queen TV is saying is real, But in order to make it work, we have to understand if we are fight or flight, and the babies that we're holding, or if we're holding them at all, because we understand that the future, that the present that we control, that we fight, or that we run from, is still going to be the future that is presented to our kids. All right. So I definitely appreciate the feedback. Like I said, situational dynamics, there's more to it. This is not it, but I'm just giving you guys a hint into the next piece of the rabbit hole that we discuss within situational dynamics when we bring this back. Hold on.
This is good. Thank you so much, Andrea. I really appreciated this conversation with these brothers here.
They
and
my brothers
over here.
I love them.
You are awesome.
I love
you too. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna go back in the chat. Thank you.
Hold it down. Thanks for jumping up, Queen. So I'm gonna give y'all a little teaser of the conversation that we're going to address regarding situational dynamics when we have this conversation again. Hold on.
Is there. Does that make sense? So I need to understand what normal is there. Does that make sense? I need to understand what normal is there. Does that make sense? So where are we right now? Walmart where?
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. Where in Las Vegas?
Henderson.
Henderson, which is a suburbia of Las Vegas. Now, is the people that live here going to be different than the Walmart 2 miles, 3.5 miles, 2.5 miles away from the strip?
Yes.
Totally different. Now let's talk about layout. What is in a parking lot? Where do people park? Yeah, as close as they can get. So who's usually in the very front of a parking lot? Handicapped. Sometimes they have veteran spots. Sometimes they have expecting or with children spots. Now, what about the women? Where do they park? Where do you park? What about as close to the front as you can under a light? Do you do that consciously or subconsciously?
Yeah.
But you try to park as close to the front, but if there's a spot open underneath the light, you definitely take it.
Yeah.
Where do the employees park here? They're supposed to park towards the back. So I said, the good employees, the managers, or the ones that want to let the managers see them park, they're going to park back here. The lazy employees that are going to like come in 5 minutes before their shift starts and try to walk right in the door real quick to hit the time card, they're going to be in the middle area. Where, if there's going to be kind of a nefarious illegal act happening in the parking lot, where's it going to happen? In the back. It's a pretty lit parking lot. I'm happy. So cars are a huge giveaway for people.
It may seem weird what we're just watching, but that's going to be a piece of our next segment of the Situational Awareness series. And trust me, it all plays a piece into the bigger rabbit hole. We talking about situational awareness. Tonight was choosing your room. The next one is going to be understanding your surroundings. And it ain't a safety video discussion. It's going to fit, but just stay tuned. I definitely appreciate each and every one of you that came out, took time out of your Sunday night with a lot of larger content creators on deck. You know, I know this is kind of last minute, but I felt it was important for us to put some of our perspectives into the ether instead of just ethering niggas. But look, man, thank you. Let me just send the last bit of the love. Oh, that's you, Andrea. Peace, Dawn. Peace.
What?
Blaze. 100 Wizzy, my guy. Peace. What it do? It's your boy. I love those who love me. Quantum. Was good. Green Vegan. Thank you. We have to do the vegan cooking joint.
Yeah.
You did your thing tonight. Thank you. All right, Sheree, I see you. So that's what we have. Thanks again. I know Gail had to drop. Appreciate you, Gail, for being a part of this. Simon, Gabrielle, Rilla, Marcus, everybody. Thank you for coming back to
Peace to Chicago, Rilla.
Peace to my guy, Rilla. HVH, high value husband. But look, you know how it is. Let me start to bring y'all down. Hold on. Because you know the way we love to do it here. Peace, Vic. It's been a real one. Thanks for tuning in. Don't mind the bed. What I'm doing is I'm actually trying to get some more height up here, so letting it grow out. So I'm trying not to just keep, doing a little trim joint. So don't mind this. But yo, man, look, this is my crib. This is your crib. We talk that talk. We walk that walk. I am not your leader. I'm just your nerdy homeboy that seen a few things and want to let you see some of the books that I've read. You have a right to make a choice. It is my duty and my wish to allow you better vision, better purview of your surroundings. And if it makes you better, hell, that makes me better. Even if it makes you better enough to tell me that I'm full of shit, I empowered you, which thus empowered me, which would make me take a look at myself. So let's keep doing this thing. You already know we appreciate and love the vibes. And, I don't just let you go and hit the streets dry. We like you dancing your way out of this piece. So let's get vibing, y'all. Chef out. Let's go.
Hop on jump, it's the weekend. You done come true with the fake friends. Hitting on doors, that's a defense. Rolling with all, that's an offense. It me change, you let me peachin'. With a bull shaking to my maybe drop ins. Today on by and I say, today on by you the kid play, baby, tell me what you want. Julian, well I know you ain't from. Ever since remember we been knocking at the door. Y'all been moving paper, we be running up the school. Y'all before that pillar, we was sleeping on the floor. West side Africa, you know the shit ain't hard. I don't care what they say. We don't care. Driving all night long. I don't care what they say. We don't care. Bobby, baby, come roll with me. All night long. As times relax, my mind's relax. I got now from who got next. Here's my number, just send a text. You got a man and she responds, nah. Okay, showing up. I'ma let you go, don't wanna hold you up. I'ma call your phone when I'm putting up. Whoever let you go must be them as far. Wait far. Girl, you so fine, I pay for. Fly you first class to the lake for. Body so blessed, I pray for. Body so blessed, I pray for. Because I don't care what you say. I don't care what they say. We don't care. Bobby, driving all night long. I don't care what they say. We don't care. Bobby, driving all night long. Why did I kill it? Night long. It's the part where you get your girl, nigga. Make sure she focused, nigga. Make sure you focus, nigga. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, hit it. I don't care what they say. We don't care. Bobby, driving all night long. I don't care what they say. We don't care. Bobby, driving all night long. I don't care what they say. We don't care. Bobby, driving all night long. I don't care what they say.
That's a hit for your ass, nigga. Hit for your ass, nigga. Profit the one.
All night long.